Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome in to GC Live Fowl Balls, Gamecock Central's very own baseball show. I'm your host, Intern Joe Macheca. With me, as always, my co-host, the one, the only, Mr. Jack Veltri. Jack, how are we doing on this fine Thursday evening?
Joe, doing good, man. Doing good. Always look forward to the show and thankful to be back on. So it's always a good time talking baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. South Carolina off to a 5-0 start this season. Just wrapped up the two midweek games where they won with a run rule. Jack, you were at the first one on Tuesday. Walk me through what you saw from the Gamecocks in the midweek.
I saw a team that, obviously they need to win these midweeks, and they took care of business in both. But more in-depth details, I think Eddie Copper pitched really well. He went 4 innings and threw 70 pitches, giving up 1 hit. And you got to remember, he is, a freshman, new on the scene with this team and stuff. And, in his first outing, he pitched on opening day and was quickly pulled right after Eli Jones and struggled, right? And he said after the game on it was Tuesday, I asked him kind of what was Friday like, and he said Eli Jones came up to him, gave him a hug after the game and stuff, and a bunch of the guys texted him kind of saying like, hey, it's all right, first game jitters, it happens, you're gonna be all right. And I gave him the confidence to go back out there on Tuesday, and the coaching staff also had the confidence in him to go out there and do what he had to do, and he pitched really well. Looked like a typical midweek kind of start that you want, a few innings out of your guys. And he really set the tone for the game. And then obviously the offense winning on a run rule. And I think the big standouts for me offensively were Talmadge Lecroy finally got his first homer of the year and was a triple away from the cycle, I believe. And then Tyler Causey, what a good addition he's been, going the other way and hitting a 2-run homer the other day. And he's been awesome for this team. Had 4 RBIs on that Tuesday game. And, I think it was just about as good of a game as you could have asked for.
Yeah, Causey was great on Tuesday, and then Lecroy being a triple away from the cycle was also wild. Really, really big offensive outpouring on Tuesday. We saw more of the same on Wednesday. Obviously, Cole Messina, the Moose, going deep. If you're Gamecock home run tracker, I got to catch up on that. Yeah. Once we dive into SEC play, crossover season has obviously been a little hectic. But yeah, the Moose coming through clutch last night. And then Matthew Becker, 5 strikeouts through 2 innings, looked really, really darn good last night. I don't think he's going to pitch this weekend. Kingston also said in his presser last night that's probably not going to be the case since he pitched last night. So it'll be really interesting to see. I'm assuming they'll go SQ, but as, Becker returns to health and stuff, it'll be interesting to look at that starting rotation. And Jack, we'll get into some of that speculation. Let's talk about this weekend series, opening weekend against Miami of Ohio. Pretty big sweep. You got it done in pretty sweet fashion, no?
Yeah, no, it was a great series, and we touched on it on the walkthrough a little bit, but we can go back through it a little bit. I think what you basically saw was everything you needed to see. The hitting was, at times, it was a little bit of a struggle, right? They had a few bases loaded situations on Friday and couldn't cash in, but eventually they go on to score double digits the next 2 games. And then your pitching, I think, was the real big standout, and I think you got everything you needed to, right? Your rotation looked good. Your bullpen was pretty solid. I think there were a few guys who definitely struggled a little bit. Eddie Copper comes to mind as one from Friday. And there's a few others. But for the most part, it was good. Ty Good was awesome over the weekend. Roman Kimball finally coming back. And you throw the no-hitter on Sunday, the combined no-hitter, the 8th, I believe, in program history and first since 2013. So that in itself was pretty cool. I mean, look, it was 7 innings, but I mean, honestly, like a no-hitter is a no-hitter. And yeah, I think it was a overall really productive weekend. Obviously, you'd like a few more guys in the lineup to get going. But I think it's only 5 games into the year now, guys. And I think you can't all be hot at once, I don't think. Some guys are going to struggle. And eventually, I think the guys that are struggling right now will get it going. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then, I mean, Sunday, the door was shut by Roman Kimball. He looked great. Also, obviously, him and Becker were both dealing with similar issues. Kimball was ready to go before Becker, obviously, because this happened before. But yeah, I think Kimball looks great. He's exactly what you want for a Sunday starter, right? You know, he's a little crazy. He hypes up the team. He's got a pregame speech, which is nuts. Being down on the field for that for the midweeks. You know, he brings a lot of energy as well. Watch out for him to be the Sunday guy that, you know, will go and get you a series win if you need it. You know, especially into SEC play. He looks ready to go. And you know, his stuff looked great on Sunday.
What's his pregame speech looking like?
I mean, he just kind of runs around and, you know, they all circle up around him. He starts yelling, you know, telling them how much better they are than everyone else and, you know, how they're not going to get beat today. And then grabs somebody, yells at him. It's pretty good, man. I was certainly ready to run through a brick wall after standing on the outside, kind of shooting it. So it was pretty awesome stuff. We'll have to get, you know, his take on it here soon as the season progresses. We'll start to have some of these guys on.
Totally. And what's up with their home run celebration? Because I had someone bring it up. A friend brought it up to me yesterday. And Joe, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but when they do the little, you know, like the hand gesture when they hit a home run, apparently it's like a WWE Randy Orton type thing.
Yeah.
Like this. Do you have?
It's a move. I don't necessarily know the Randy Orton move, but the home run celebration, they do have a belt. Championship belt. Agent Cromer brought it, for the last two.
Yeah, but no, this team, again, they have a lot of fun, and winning is fun in general. But this team knows how to do it right with all the celebrations and gimmicks and all that. So it's a good time for South Carolina baseball right now. It's early, you know. I mean, they're really in the series and games that they should win, no problem. Next week will be interesting when they go play Clemson. But for right now, good times are rolling.
Yeah, obviously next weekend is the big series against Clemson. You know, we'll find out what this team is really made of. And granted, it is really early still in the season as well. But I think Clemson comes as you know, a perfect temperature gauge on how hot this team is going into it and how they're going to look during SEC play as well. So that's a big thing. Jack, I did want to talk about. We'll break down the pitching here real quick. SQ obviously getting the go this weekend, but when everyone's healthy and Becker's returned to health, like how do you see this weekend rotation going?
Yeah, so the weekend rotation, if you haven't seen yet, guys, is the exact same as last weekend. Eli Jones Friday, Dylan Eskew Saturday, and Roman Kimball Sunday. When everyone's fully healthy, see that's the dilemma, right? Is that you have a lot of good arms that could go out there and definitely pitch on any given weekend, and not enough spots, unfortunately, for everyone. So by the time SEC play rolls around, I don't know. I feel like Eli Jones is definitely your one. If he continues on this track, he's definitely the one. The number two for me, I really like Roman Kimball, man. I think his stuff is dynamite. I think it's I mean, look, he had 5 strikeouts in 2 innings the other day. And granted, so did Matthew Becker. So it's like it draws out there. I think both of them do struggle with walks. How did Becker do with walks yesterday, by the way?
I mean, I think he walked 1 or 2 guys. It wasn't too bad. He did put some guys on the bases, but the strikeouts is really what kind of said it. You know, he battled and, you know, did well.
And that's kind of how Becker's always been to just from watching him over the years now that he's a junior. Has been, you know, the base running issues that he lets guys get on via walks and second chance opportunities, basically, and stuff. So if he minimizes that, he's going to be really good. And obviously, he's got wicked stuff on the mound. But so does Kimball. And Kimball, you know, the big thing with Tommy John is that, you know, your first outing back, you're not really worried about command. You're worried about just being back out there and pitching again. And he had 3 walks the other day. That's something you got to work on. And SQ struggled with walks as well. But right now, in a short answer, if I'm guessing for SEC play, Jones, Kimball, Becker. I think having the lefty in there in the weekend rotation really just mixes it up a bit. And it's not a knock against SQ. I think he's a great pitcher.
Yeah,
but
you need a lefty.
But I mean, we haven't seen enough from him yet to really know like what he's all about, right? And you could say the same thing about Kimball, but Kimball has pitched on the biggest stage for, you know, he pitched with Notre Dame, the College World Series and stuff. And I think his potential is higher. His ceiling is higher than Becker or SQ. So I think eventually Kimball's got the stuff for a Friday night guy. So, you know, you really don't have a bad option, but I think that would eventually be how the rotation would pan out.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, I agree. Just simply because of, Becker being a lefty, you do have to factor him into the weekend rotation. SQ, what you've seen from him has been great, right? You expect him to either be an arm out of the bullpen, a really good arm out of the bullpen if, Becker comes up, or I do expect him to, you'll start a couple midweeks, but I think he's more valuable out of the bullpen in that case. And then, he's also going to help you down the road as well. His time at South Carolina is far from done.
Yeah, totally, totally. Like I said before, they have a ton of good options, and that's not even including some of the guys that haven't even cracked the rotation. I think Ty Good is another arm that I originally thought was going to be maybe a midweek starter, maybe a Sunday starter. But obviously, right now he's kind of one of the big guys out of the bullpen, and he can get you out of jams and stuff. He's kind of proven to do that so far, and it's just you have a lot of options, but again, you only have so many spots, and for a guy like SQ, who I think is has been very good to start the year through one start. Obviously, we'll see how he does on Saturday, but just I don't know. It's tough because you really got to pick out your best guys, and if one guy's doing one other thing right, maybe it's like less walks or something. You got to go with them, and that's kind of the way it is. And I think having Becker as that lefty definitely helps in the rotation long term.
No, absolutely. And, I think that's, a pretty good segue into our players of the week. We're about halfway through the show. So, Jack, we'll start with the pitching because we're segueing off of, the pitching conversation. But who would your pitcher of the week? And we can factor in the midweeks, but yeah. Who you got?
I'll look at it from a midweek perspective. I'm gonna go Eddie Copper. I think his just solely off of midweeks. I think his return, his second outing was obviously a lot better than his first. It's tough going out there as a freshman, even on opening day with a couple thousand people in the stands and all that against a no-name team. But it's tough because you're nervous, you're excited. There's a lot of things going on in your head, and it's tough to control it. So I think anyone in that kind of situation might feel the same way he did, and the way he responded was definitely big. And I could totally see him being a midweek, hidden gem the rest of the year. But also, let's give a small shout out to a guy like Tyler Pitzer, who honestly, the stuff that Matt Williams, the pitching coach, is doing with these guys. His breaking stuff looks good, man. I think that's something that you can definitely hang your head on is the movement on some of these off-speed pitches it's like a wiffle ball. And that's for a freshman, that's insane to think about. So small shout out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to take a similar route. I'm going to go with Becker just simply because actually, I'm gonna do a because I think Roman Kimball did well. Yeah, you got to give shout out to the Sunday guy. Both guys coming off of the lat injury. And there's also a very good argument for Eli Jones as well. He's going to get overshadowed a little bit because the two other pitchers in this rotation, along with SQ, are flashier. There's better storylines. Eli Jones is Mr. Consistency, but yeah, Roman Kimball, Matthew Becker, both coming off the lat injury, and showed why they are supposed to be where they're at, right? If the lat wasn't an issue, they should be, dominating hitters Saturday and Sunday. So shout out to both those guys again. I talked about Kimball at the top of the show. He's a madman, dude, and really gets the guys going. A good dugout guy, good morale guy as well. So when he can play well, your team is a lot better. And then, Becker as well. 5 strikeouts through 2 innings. I can't remember Kimball's strikeout numbers off the top of my head.
He had 5 strikeouts to 3 walks, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
So, both guys, similar stat lines, did well. And then my guy out of the bullpen, I got Garrett Gainey coming in, just checking heat. Really, really amped up guy as well. You need guys like that out of the bullpen, somebody that can come in, throw the fireball a little bit and then, celebrate it too, because, put the fire out with more fire, essentially, is what Garrett Gainey's doing. He looked good this weekend. I'm interested to see how he progresses out of the bullpen, but when you can have another guy kind of like Veach, another junkyard dog in that bullpen, man, are you better as a baseball team. So, I kind of just listed 5 guys there, which kind of defeats the purpose of this segment, but, it'll do.
Hey, you know what? It's tough when you have so many options, and I think that really speaks to this pitching staff, right? Because at the beginning of the year, we didn't know what this pitching staff was going to be. We thought maybe it's a bunch of no names and you're not sure what you're going to get out of them. But the fact this early in the year, you're getting such good outings of most of these guys. And I know yesterday they gave 3 home runs and stuff, but I think overall you got to be pleased with what you're seeing. So, hold on, Joe.
Oh, sorry, Mike was muted. I apologize.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's
no.
okay.
So I'm going to take the clear and obvious one. Ethan Petrie. It's crossover season, Jack. It's all blending together.
So,
But
just be clear. You're talking about hitter of the week.
hitter of the
right?
week. Yeah,
There you go,
transitioning
there
into
you
hitter of
go.
the week. Yeah, I'm going to take the clear and obvious Ethan Petrie. He's started off well. He had 2 home runs in the last 5 games. So pretty big, and nobody is pitching to this kid, right? Nobody at all. So I think that's big. Doing what he has with what he's been pitched to. Pretty exciting stuff from the sophomore now.
Yeah, sophomore slump, man. I guess so. Let's see. Hitter of the week. Again, a lot of options. I'm really high on, and maybe I picked him over the weekend. Who cares? Cole Messina has really impressed me. I tweeted about it yesterday. There was a ball he hit on Tuesday night. During the game, it was a long fly ball left field, went over the foul pole. Landed. I don't know if it landed on a bounce or just straight up out of the stadium without a bounce, but he had a really long foul ball that I thought was gone, and I think maybe he thought too. And he got all of it, man. But it went foul, so he was due, and he had been hitting the ball really well. He's been hitting the ball well to all fields, especially right field, getting the Oppo Taco working there. But yesterday he hits a 3-run homer and gets South Carolina going, and he is definitely the perfect cleanup hitter for this team. I think I said it again yesterday. I think he's honestly the best hitting catcher in the country. Catchers in general, it's kind of hard to find good quality hitting ones, especially at his level. And he's definitely going to be a real threat in this lineup. Any way you put it.
Yeah, most definitely. I love the pick with the Moose. Very big. Jay Diz says, happy with the pitching coach so far. I hate to go back to pitching here real quick, but we'll come back to the hitters. Jay Diz says, happy with the pitching coach so far. Guys look ready to go, and he doesn't wait to pull a guy if he doesn't have it going. Yeah, absolutely. And then to follow up on that too, Jay Diz, he gave Eddie Copper a redemption chance in the midweek, right? He didn't, completely – they're far from giving up on Eddie Copper, right, just because of one bad appearance. And, everyone in this staff seems to like it, right, too, all the players as well. So, Jay Diz, appreciate you pointing that out because that's a big one.
Yeah, totally. Matt Williams, he definitely in the early going has not been afraid to pull the plug on some guys, and maybe it's also a Kingston decision as well. But at the same time, it's like, when a guy's struggling, you can just throw another guy in there. That's the beauty of it. And I think this is where like we've said multiple times, this is where you definitely want to identify who your guys are and who's when push comes to shove, who you putting in there. And so far, I feel like we're finally figuring it out.
Yeah, most definitely. But going back to the hitter track with Moose a little bit, Tal Lecroy didn't have the best of weekends. This team drew a lot of walks too, as well. I was talking on 107.5 The Game in the the Gamecock Central Hour, excuse me. That this team drew a lot of walks. They're being really selective at the plate, so I think that's one big thing. And hitters aren't really gonna stand out when you are taking walks like that. It's gonna be hard to pick from a guy. Tal Lecroy was one of those guys, drew a couple walks this weekend, and then really had a strong 2 midweek games. Obviously, as we mentioned, was a triple away from the cycle on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, again, you have a lot of options, and we could have easily picked Tyler Causey too. But again, I think Tal definitely had a big coming out party the other night. And again, if his defense can just lock down a little more, I think he's definitely improving. Play good at the hot corner. It's a tough position. He's going to be an all around really big player for this team this year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just got to get confidence in the glove back, but really, really done well with the bat and going to be a very consistent force in this lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Jack, you want to hit some ads before we get some last thoughts?
Let's do it.
Absolutely. First ad today brought to you by our good friends over at Liberty Tax. Tax ID is an uncertain feeling you get right before doing your taxes, but you don't have to go through it alone. Tax team at Liberty Tax in Irmo, Lexington, and Columbia will walk you through the process, clear up any confusion, and guarantee you'll get the biggest possible refund or your money back. It's tax time if you're in a hurry for your refund. Call on the tax team at Liberty Tax. They're fast, accurate, and guaranteed. On the other hand, if you think you might be owing Uncle Sam, talk to a Liberty Tax team to make sure you're not paying more than you should owe. They'll find every possible deduction for you. Locally owned and operated, staffed by tax professionals from your neighborhood. Open 9 to 9 on weekdays and 9 to 5 on Saturdays with multiple service options. Start through the Liberty Tax mobile app or through the desktop portal. Make an appointment or just walk in. Give a call to upload your tax documents, and when you come in, your return will be ready to review and sign. Give them a call on your screen right now. And for those listening, 803-462-5576. Once again, 803-462-5576 for all of your tax needs this tax season. Jack, our show is also brought to you by our good friend Clint Hammond of the Movement Mortgage Network. In need of help with your mortgage, call on our good friend Clint Hammond of the Movement Mortgage Network. He's been in the mortgage industry since 2003, which allows him to help everyone from the first-time home buyer to the complicated and complex jumbo buyer. Whether you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance, nothing is more important than a well-thought-out financial strategy that comes with 5-star customer service. He's even helped out our very own Wes Mitchell and former Gamecock quarterback Perry North with their mortgages. So give our guy Clint a call. He's above us on all of our GC Live programming. Like I said, 803-771-6933. Once again, 803-771-6933. Jack, pretty big upcoming weekend. Obviously, 3 home games against Belmont, I believe.
Yep.
They should take care of business, roll through this one. But what have you got on Belmont before we get out of here?
Yeah, not much to be honest. Just because look, it's another. I'll put it this way: this is another series South Carolina should sweep. You got no excuse not to sweep them. I think. Look, it's another small mid major kind of team. Last year, last year was last year, and honestly, it's just South Carolina's got to do what they got to do best, and that is scoring runs and moving runners over and hitting the long ball occasionally, and then pitching. I think you've really got to continue to maximize your innings out of the guys that you can. You don't have to get 7 innings out of every guy in the rotation. You can get 4 or 5. Ideally, I think you want 5 innings out of everyone in the rotation. But Roman Kimball, we'll see. He's probably going to be throwing maybe. We'll see. Maybe he goes 4 innings this upcoming weekend, depending on his pitch count. We'll see how that goes. With Eskew and Jones, I'm thinking 6, 7 innings out of both of them. I think the key with Eskew specifically, get the walks down. Get the walks down. Defense help him out a little bit, and he will be able to really maximize those innings because, again, he only went 5 innings, and a lot of it had to do with his high pitch count. He was almost at 50 pitches through 2 innings. So, I think we'll see what happens. Again, I'm looking forward to another baseball weekend here. And, again, this is a series that South Carolina should have no excuse but to sweep.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. No excuses but to sweep. My same keys for me also for the non-con. It's the same thing, right? Get on base and then don't let people on base. The errors is another thing. It's the little things that are going to lose you these games. And so you're obviously the better baseball team. So go out there, do everything you can to prove that. And so I have all the faith that this team can do this. I was about to say I have zero faith. So I have all the faith that they're more than capable of doing such things at Founders Park this weekend. To sweep, should be in order. Just got to take care of business, clean it up on the base pass and stuff. No errors. Don't let anybody on, and you should be just fine. So looking forward to see how that turns out at Founders Park this weekend. I will be out there with the camera for 2 games. Jack will be out there as well. We'll have plenty of content and have it all covered for you.
Yeah.
All of the action this weekend.
Yep. And first pitch tomorrow is 4:00. On Saturday, we got 2:00. Joe and I will both be there for those 2 games. And then Wednesday, I'll be back. Wednesday. Oh, my goodness. Sunday, 1:30 against Belmont. So
should be a
man,
good one.
another busy weekend. But hey, this is one of your last test runs before Clemson, and then it's going to get pretty serious. So it's
Yeah, I
time.
know.
It's early.
We'll see it. We'll see how it goes leading up to Clemson. Obviously, first real test, and then we head to the SEC for basketball. So that'll be fun too.
Yeah,
A lot of fun content coming up for sure.
absolutely. Well, it was another good show, man. So happy to
Yeah,
do it.
absolutely. Appreciate everyone joining us on this Thursday night for GC Live Foul Balls. We will be coming at you again next week. Stay tuned for the walkthrough this Sunday. Should be a pretty good episode as well. So appreciate everyone tuning in and have a great evening.